Last time on Robloxian SASUKE, the second tournament kicked off. We saw success and we saw disappointment as the first 30 of the 100 competitors took on the first stage. Now the next wave of competitors get their shot at the course. These 40 are filled with old and new names to the Roblox ninja scene. Will any of them go all the way and become the first grand champion of Robloxian SASUKE? Hello everyone, my name is Jamie Dorino and welcome to the second episode of Tournament 2. Last episode, 30 competitors began the tournament, and today it'll continue with the largest batch of competitors this tournament. We'll be seeing 40 competitors attempt the first stage, a stage that has been very deadly already. However, this group is stacked with competitors that can very well join the few that cleared last time. The first heavy hitter to name is Mr. Sunnyside Splash. While he's yet to stand out on Roblox, he's garnered a lot of attention in the Halo jumping scene when he reached the final stage in Spartan SASUKE 22 amongst other strong results in other competitions. With his skills, he could go very far. Another person on my mind is Amolga Rex, who many will know better as Bill V-Rex. Rex has been a member of the community since 2016 and a very respected member as well. His competition Ninja Bloxer was one of the biggest while it was still around, and his contributions to the community have been some of the largest. And that's only scratching the surface of who is competing this episode. Those two and 38 others will be starting their journey to Kanzen Seiha at the same place as always, the first stage. Like always, the first stage is the first thing competitors will tackle, and if you don't hit that button at the end of the course, you'll be eliminated. The newest obstacle of the stage, Whirlpool, gave many competitors a hard time. The 3 spinning platforms were harder than they seemed, as finding the right pattern proved troublesome. The obstacle right after that, the swinging force, also continued its trend from the previous tournament of being a deadly obstacle, with competitors struggling to weave their way through the series of ropes. The Tarzan rope at the end of the course proved that the final half shouldn't be overlooked, as many competitors were close to slipping off the rope and ending their run. Overall, only 3 competitors have reached the top of the tower, and anyone who can do so can only add their name to the list if they hit that button within the 75-second time limit. On the starting line right now, kicking off our second day of runs is a returning competitor from last tournament. It's me Ninja 005, also known as Chris. While he's yet to have many notable runs, Chris has proven that he can go deep in competitions occasionally. Chris failed on the swinging forest last time, and he plans on bettering his performance this time. We know that he is a skilled competitor, he's just gotta execute when the time is right. Standing on that starting platform, here comes the countdown to signal the start of his run, and he is now off. Chris is now onto the course and up against the quintuple steps, got himself on that steps with a great strategy so far. The sideways movement on that steps working out perfectly as he's now on the silk slider. This obstacle has no damage so far, but he was able to beat it last time, so it should be no problem, but it's not! Chris is out on just the second obstacle, and that is surprising. He defeated that obstacle very easily last time, but now he's just caught up on it. And that is something that I did not expect to see from him. The next to run is Colin XHH14. Not much is known about Colin, he is yet to make that much of a name for himself. However, there is something noticeable about his attire, and that's the fact that he's wearing a ninja mask. That's very appropriate for him to wear on a Ninja Warrior competition, so hopefully that means that he has the ability to go far. Counting down to the start of his run, Colin's now on to the course. Or he's not. Colin's taking a little bit of time getting going on this course. Now, oh, there he goes. Took about almost 10 seconds to get onto his run. He's now at a and he misses the second step. That is really unfortunate. After taking nearly 10 seconds to start his run, Colin goes down instantly. He spent more time on the starting line than the actual course, and that's got to hurt. Up next on the course is TBCS Stuff, the 33rd to run the first stage. TBCS is definitely a mouthful. I wonder where he got the name. Nevertheless, his run is about to commence, and he's off. Now onto the course. Last two competitors have gone down on the first two obstacles respectively, looking like TBCS is using a more careful approach to get through the first obstacle, and he's through. Now onto the silk slider, gotta grab this silk, and he's got it, and now he's gotta ride down to that landing platform. Released early enough to land on that landing platform without any slide whatsoever, and he's now onto Whirlpool. 3 unassumingly difficult cyclones. Onto the first, he's going around it looking to land on the second one, and he's got it. TBCS on a perfect cycle on Whirlpool. Now just don't underestimate this dismount coming up, and he's got it. Now onto the swinging forest. TBCS is putting on a great run for his first appearance on the course. Getting a good swing as he's working his way through this obstacle. Got a great rhythm so far as he's nearing the end. Kind of stuck on that fourth one, and he's able to work around it nicely. Now just the dismount of this obstacle. Oh wait, but he doesn't jump! TBCS was so close to beating the swinging forest, but he times his jump off the obstacle wrong, and that means that he's out. So unfortunate, but an amazing run nevertheless. Up next on the course is one of the most relevant names in Halo jumping as of right now. Looking to make his mark on Roblox is the next competitor to run the first stage, Mr. Sunnyside Splash. Sunny gained notoriety in 2022 with his performance in Spartan SASUKE 22. After failing the third obstacle of the third stage in the previous tournament, Sunny would not only beat that, but the entirety of the third stage as a whole, to become one of a select few to reach that final stage in the show's history. While he would go down almost instantly on the final stage, Sunny's mark was made in Halo jumping as an elite jumper. In other series, Sunny hasn't had similar success, but he has done better than most, evident by his performance in Halo Ninja Warrior's 24th and 25th tournaments. Sunny has so much potential here on Robloxian SASUKE, and he's very eager to put in a good performance. However, he does have some concerns going into the course, and notably with the third obstacle, Whirlpool. His chance to best it is coming up soon. His 75-second attack on this Roblox Ninja Warrior course is now onto it. Don't really know how many competitions he has done on Roblox. This very well might be his first, but I heavily doubt it considering his attire looks like he's been on Roblox for a very long time. Beating that first obstacle very quickly and now stepping up to the silk slider. You need to get perfect timing on this obstacle as he almost goes down! Sunny with an amazing save on the silk slider, and his quick thinking allows for him to stay alive, and he's onto Whirlpool. Looking to make that jump onto that second cyclone, and he times it wrong. Appears he just went a little bit too late, and unfortunately that results in Sunny's nail-biting run ending here. However, a strong result and a great start for him on Roblox. We're 34 runs into the tournament, and with only 3 clears, maybe our next run can join them. He's a familiar face. Welcome Bowling Ninja to the starting line. Bowling's been around since the start of the community in 2013, however he's had not too many notable results. Last tournament, Bowling went down on the silk slider, so he's hoping that today he'll have a better run. Bowling's into the quintuple steps, making his way through the obstacle, but it looks like he's got a little bit of lag happening. Doesn't look too affected by as he's reaching the silk slider. Got a good handling on this obstacle. Here comes the dismount that he failed last tournament, and he stuck it! Bowling has reached uncharted territory in Robloxian SASUKE, and he is onto Whirlpool. Although he did actually have some trouble back there getting up to the obstacle, slipping on the ladder a few times. A bit more lag again, once again, as he's onto the obstacle, but he just times the obstacle wrong. Bowling just barely grabbed it, but he wasn't able to pull himself on top of the platform. If he had gone a little bit earlier, he would have had a better chance of grabbing it, but sadly this means that Bowling is out. Next up is Master of the Shy 2. He's a newcomer, and I don't really have that much else to say for him other than that. Like many people here, he's got nothing much to his name, so he's looking for that here. Into the quintuple steps, it looks like he's moving very fluidly. He's definitely put in some practice for giving this course a go. Silk Slider is up next. He's going now onto this obstacle, and it looks like he's opting to use a forward technique. That's not the best option, but he sticks the landing. Similarly to Mr. Sunnyside Splash, Master of the Shy 2 avoids disaster on the Silk Slider, and he's through. As I was saying, going forward on the Silk Slider is not the best strategy because of how it restricts your ability to recover, but Master is able to just stick it in the nick of time. He's now coming up on the final cyclone of Whirlpool, almost through the obstacle, now just the dismount awaits. He stuck that and is now onto the swinging forest. Gotta get himself into the mount, going straight for it. Taking a bit of time there, setting up that first swing, but now it looks like he's going straight for it. Hung up on that third set of ropes, and now hung up on that fourth one. Gotta get this dismount here, and he stuck it. Now he's onto the Soy Tatsukabe, running up this obstacle. Can he beat the wall in one attempt? He cannot. He's out of time on that first attempt, but he can still make it here. This is probably gonna be his last shot, but within the possibility to clear, but he misses it. Here comes the klaxon, but he's able to get up the wall. He's got to be able to beat it here. He's beat the Tarzan. Oh, and he slips off. Thought he was through the obstacle, but he falls off while the rope is still moving. If he went a little farther in, he wouldn't have fallen off, but he would have timed up regardless. However, it was a great opening run from him, and hopefully he can do better next time. Cubs Rule 37 went down on the quintuple steps last time and is looking for revenge here today as her run begins. Approaching this first step, she's onto it and is now lining up for the second, but she doesn't connect. For the second tournament in a row, Audrey's out on the quintuple steps. Rich Squiggs is one of the best mobile players in Roblox Ninja and is a very talented competitor all around. Onto Whirlpool, he's not seeming the most comfortable on this obstacle, and it shows. Rich sadly doesn't have the right timing to reach the second cyclone, and that results in him coming up short. Blaze Powder has both a high ego and a high chance of performing well, as he has a lot of skill when it comes to Roblox Ninja. Onto his run, he's got a good rhythm so far, making it to the third step, but he falls off the edge of the quintuple steps and leaves the game as well. What a shocking fail! Up next to run is someone looking to make their mark. It's Dragon Clan 91271. After seeing all these failures, it's definitely made him nervous, evident by him saying "oh no" before his run. He's got to get over his fears now as his run begins now when he's into the quintuple steps. He's moving very fast through these steps as he's able to get through them without a problem, but now he's tasked with completing the silk slider. He's grabbed onto the silk. Can he make this dismount? He can, and rather beautifully as well, through the obstacle without a problem. Working his way up to Whirlpool, this obstacle has been giving a lot of people trouble, and he opts not to regen the obstacle. Despite this, he appears that he's on the perfect cycle. Luck works out in his favor as he's already through the first three obstacles and now onto the fourth with over 40 seconds remaining on the clock. Nice now on the obstacle, and he's now working his way through the swinging forest. Gets stopped so far, but there is a stumble there on that fourth set. He's able to get the dismount of the obstacle and now onto the Soaring Tusky Bay with 30 seconds left, and he's up it in one! Continuing to not stop whatsoever, can Apex continue to complete this course? But he can't! Speed kills as Dragon Clan slips off at the last possible second on the Tarzan to Bori, and he's out! That fail could have been easily prevented by him simply taking his time, but he rushes, and that results in his failure. That is such an unfortunate way to go, and that unfortunately means that he's out. Coming up to the starting line is one of the most notable Roblox ninjas of the last few years. The next person to run the first stage is Twig 5943. Twig's standout run in R&W has to have been in Rising Ninja Warrior's third tournament. There, Twig surprised all as he was able to reach the cliffhanger. While he failed it, he was able to best the other competitors and become that tournament's golden competitor. However, since then, Twig has not seen the same success. After shockingly failing the propeller bars, he would go on to disappoint once again when he failed the final obstacle of the first stage in Tournament 5. This trend has continued in other competitions and also Robloxian SASUKE, where last tournament he was one of many to fail the swinging forest. Twig has so much talent but has been on the decline for a long time. Will this be the tournament where he finally bounces back? His chance to do so is off as his run has begun and he is on to the quintuple steps. Going with a fast approach on each of them, landing these jumps, and he almost goes down there on the dismount. A tragic event was evaded there as he's now onto the silk slider, sliding down the track and gets that dismount perfectly, choosing to avoid the landing platform and instead go for the platform instantly after. While it's riskier to pull off, it can also be seen as a safer option to do, and it also looks like he's going for speed as he's onto Whirlpool. Onto that last of 3 cyclones, it looks like there's a little bit of lag there on the spinners, however he looks like he was fine on all of them, and now he's onto the swinging forest. Reaching up for this first one, he's going insanely fast, it looks like, on all of these transitions, and Twig has beat the swinging forest. 30 seconds left onto the Soaring Tusky Bay. He can take a few attempts here, but he gets up into one and just keeps going. One obstacle left. Twig has a chance to be the next person to clear the first stage, and he will! With an out-of-this-world 21.5 seconds left on the clock, Twig clocks in with the second fastest time in Robloxian SASUKE history. He was able to get through all of the obstacles in his way to the buzzer, including the swinging forest, the obstacle that eliminated him last time. He was able to demolish everything with perfect precision and also compose himself on the last few obstacles of the stage, unlike Apex did earlier. And with that means that Twig will be advancing to the second stage. You can tell that he's pretty confused, but he's also equally excited up there. For the first time in 2 years, Twig has punched his ticket onward and is the fourth to do so overall here in this tournament. Well done to him. We'll be seeing him in the second stage later on. The next to run the first stage is Gojira 2222, or some form of pronunciation of that. He's been competing in competitions here and there in the community, but I don't really know his skill level because I've yet to see him perform all too well. He's been able to get through this first obstacle so far, sticking that dismount and now onto the silk slider. A little bit of lag getting up to where the silk actually is, but he's onto it now and approaching this dismount, and he's through that as well. By making it through the silk slider, Goj has done something that not many have done here this tournament, so he has that going for him. He's also another competitor who has decided not to regen Whirlpool, but it's looking like it actually is working out in his favor despite that weird mount onto the second spinner. It's allowing him to reach that third spinner perfectly, and now he's onto the swinging forest. He's making his way onto the mount, getting a big run all the way to it, taking some time stopping on there, but he misses the mount. Really took up some time lining up for it, but it ended up not working out as he just nudged it and fell into the water. It was a great attempt, but it would have kept going if he jumped forward and not sideways, because that way he would have been able to make it. Up next is OFRQS, who has one major concern for this course, which is the dismount of the quintuple steps. That has been made harder since last tournament, however no one has gone down on it, so him saying that he is not able to do it is very alarming. Nevertheless, his run is off and he is onto the quintuple steps, moving very confidently through, but here comes that dismount. He's taking some time to size this dismount up. It looks like he's going to try and trust flick off of this dismount. He makes it! OFRQS with an out-of-the-box method to complete the quintuple steps, but he's through that and also through the silk slider. Considering how much he struggled with that dismount, it'll be interesting to see what other strategies he'll be employing throughout this run. He's very controlled on Whirlpool so far, making his way through that first jump, and now coming up on the second transition right here. Got onto that third cyclone and making it through to that dismount. It truly appears that the only concern he had was the dismount of the quintuple steps, as he has aced everything on this course so far. Going very quickly through the swinging forest, and he's out! Looking like he sped up too much than he should have there, didn't get far enough into the rope to push it, and instead just walked off of it. But let's go back to the dismount of the quintuple steps. He grabbed the edge of the final step and then trust flicked off of it. That jump is more than possible to do, so him having to trust flick to make that jump is insane. But he was able to get it and thankfully turn in an amazing moment, an amazing jump, amazing result as well. The next person to run the first stage is Mark Stickluke, who was one of the first 25 runners in the original version of Robloxian SASUKE back in 2019. While there, he went down on the first obstacle, so hopefully today he's able to do better. This version of the first obstacle is a lot easier. They don't ascend and there's no rope at the end of the obstacle, but Mark still fails the first obstacle. Mark misses the third step and he turns in another early exit on Robloxian SASUKE. Hopefully next time, third time will be the charm and Mark will finally be able to defeat one obstacle. Coming up to the starting line is someone who also hosted a competition called Robloxian SASUKE. Up next to run is Fragile as Agile, the current host of Steel Castle. That competition is one of the most successful of all time and is currently in production for its third tournament. Fragile has been a member of the community since its inception and has been performing well for multiple years. Alongside that, he's also one of a few to do ninja in real life as well as online and has performed well in many competitions throughout his time competing. Bo is a very skilled competitor in all fields of ninja. Let's see how he'll fare today. He didn't really put in that much practice for this tournament, however, given his amount of experience, he should be more than fine when it comes to this course. But also, we have to think about the fact that he hasn't cleared a course in a few years, with his last notable clear happening in Sasuke Starhammer 6. He's now on the course and onto the first obstacle. It looks like he's using the sideways technique to get himself through this obstacle and is through the obstacle without a problem. Stepping up to face the silk slider, the log grip is on his course and is a very similar obstacle to this, so he should be more than accustomed to how to defeat it, but he ends up failing! A bad release time means that he lands with too much momentum and ends off slipping off the platform just as he lands on it. And this means that Bo is out! Kyle Chanbag 2 has been in the community for a long while and has gotten through the silk slider without a problem. Now coming up to face the next obstacle, Whirlpool, working his way around the first cyclone, but he slips off before he's able to get a jump off of it. What a surprising fail. You See Me is up next to run the course and has been putting on a great performance so far as they're already onto the swinging forest. Looking like they're heading onto the mount now as they go for it, but they don't grab enough of that rope to stay on, sadly meaning that they're out. Wubsy AUTTP, better known as Cyan, has been a huge fan of Robloxian SASUKE. Currently on Whirlpool, working his way around trying to find a good entry point, but he misses the jump. Cyan unfortunately is out as he waits way too long to go for it. TJOJ is a notable name in the community, but it looks like he's having a little bit of lag as he's going through the first cyclone. We've caught up with him as he's still on the first cyclone, but he ends up coming up short. And that means that TJ has produced yet another unfortunate first stage fail. Now, Banna was one of just 4 to fail the third obstacle last tournament, and he's back here again. This time, it's a much harder obstacle to complete. No more quarter bridge left for Banna. Going for this first transition, and he also goes down. Banna is the 3rd person in a row to fail that jump, and he once again goes down. Crushed can of air swiftly through the quintuple steps and is now taking some time before going into the silk slider. A little bit of lag as well, but now they're into the silk slider, sliding down the obstacle before going for the dismount platform, but they slide off of it. A missed time unfortunately results in their fail and they're out. Up next on the course is ToadFan99, another person looking to make their mark. He stated that this is his first ever Roblox Ninja competition, so hopefully he'll be able to do well. Here comes this countdown to prove himself, and his run has begun. Walking onto the course, he's now onto the quintuple steps, moving with a perfect approach on each of the steps. A low dismount off of that final step, however, he's able to get through without a problem. Now into the silk slider, sliding down the silk, here comes that dismount, and he does it perfectly. Almost no sliding whatsoever, and he's now into Whirlpool. A little bit of some lag before he regen that obstacle. Could that affect him? Doesn't look like it's affecting him right now as he's already going into the second cyclone on the perfect path and making his way already onto the third. Now he's onto the third and when making it onto that dismount with an insanely fast pace as well. 40 seconds left on the clock as he goes straight into the swinging forest. Lands it, but he almost goes down there. Toad almost undershoots the second set. However, he grabs on and has not hesitated once, although there is a bit of a stumble there at the end of the obstacle. He's now on the Soritatsuki Bay. He's had a few stumbles here and there, and looks like he's adding another one onto the list by missing on his first attempt. He's still got more than enough time left, so he's not in a bad position at all as he's already up the wall. Now only one obstacle stands between him and a road to the second stage, climbing up this rope, a bit of a stumble there again. Here comes that klaxon, he makes it to the top, and Toad has done it. Toad has completed the first stage with 7.1 seconds remaining. Nice job to him on this first attempt on a Roblox Ninja course. Toad has come out victorious and will extend this amazing run into the second stage. Well done to him. We're halfway over our field. He's the 5th to advance second stage of this tournament. A very composed run. Very excited to see what he has in store for the second stage. Up next to run is Coffin3913, a notable name in the community, but that's not for any results. He is skilled, however, so let's see how he'll fare against this course today. Already onto the course, he's making his way onto the start of the quintuple steps, and he takes a jump there before going. Seems like he might be a little bit nervous about this obstacle, and he's taking a large amount of time to line up each of these steps before going. As we saw with Galactic earlier in the run order, taking your precious time will come back to haunt you by the end of the course, so he's got to move at a much faster pace if he wants to add himself onto the list of clearers. Now into the silk slider, he's taking again some more time before going into the obstacle. Now he's finally got himself sliding down the obstacle, but he ends up sliding off the platform. Didn't time it right, but with his pace, it's hard to say how far he would have gotten if he stuck it. Hopefully next time he'll be able to go at a much faster pace. The next to run on the first stage is someone I'm sure you'll know. It's Norwegian. Nor's been having a great year so far, and he's put in many great results. Last tournament, he went down on the swinging forest, so hopefully he'll be able to best that obstacle today. It's a tricky path to get there, but Norwegian is more than capable of getting there as he starts his run on the quintuple steps. We just saw Coffin take a long time on these. Nor's doing exactly the opposite of that as he's through it insanely quickly. Now the silk slider, timing is so important here, and this dismount can be so overlooked, but he has stuck it. He's off of the obstacle just as quickly. Up next is Whirlpool, which is much harder than the quarter bridge, which he defeated last time. Working his way around to the first big transition, coming up on it now, which he's got just barely. If he was even a fraction of a second later, he would have for sure missed it, and that would have been the end of his run. However, Nor survives, and now he's face to face with the obstacle that eliminated him last time, the swinging forest. He got to that mount and now is navigating himself through this obstacle beautifully without any fears whatsoever, and now he's onto the Sori Tatsuke Bay. A blazing pace as well. 30 seconds are left on the clock, but he gets turned down by the wall on his first attempt. Coming back up for a second try, 22 seconds on the clock, and he's able to get up here. Just 2 obstacles remain for Norris. He's making his way onto the last obstacle. Here comes the Tarzanabori climbing his way up this rope, but he loses his grip. Norris out so close to the end of the first stage, and that is stunning. Just continues to show that speed kills. How unfortunate. However, let's look back at what went right on this run, Nor beating the swinging forest. He was able to defeat the obstacle that he failed last time easily, which allowed for him to reach the Sori Tatsuke Bay. While there was a stumble there, he was able to get to the top of it and nearly beat the first stage as well. On this Tarzanabori, he bonks his head by not going out far enough, and that's all it takes for him to be sent into the water. A tragic end for a Norwegian, as he was so close to the end, but this just shows how capable he is of defeating this first stage. The next run is a person who had a lot of success in the original competition, Ali Dard 1. Ali's run in the original Robloxian SASUKE 2 showed a lot of promise when he failed the Sori Tatsuke Bay. While he failed there again in Tournament 3, he was able to finally conquer it in Senshi, where he also took home a 5th place finish. Since then, Ali has not seen as extravagant highs. Last tournament, he went out on the quintuple step, so he's looking to improve on that result. It's been nearly 4 years since Ali last hit a buzzer in one of my competitions, so hopefully today that can change. He's already working his way through the quintuple steps and is beating the obstacle as well, and is now onto the silk slider. This obstacle is very challenging, going for the drop off for the obstacle, and he landed just barely. A very sketchy dismount that could have ended very poorly. However, it doesn't, and Ali's now onto the 3rd obstacle. Making his way onto the starting platform of it, making his way now through the obstacle, trying to find a good entry point onto the next set. He's able to get it here, now working his way around to go to the 3rd. He can go for it right there, but he opts not to. The time's going to keep ticking as he gets another chance to go for it right here, and he doesn't go for it again. Again, time is of the essence on the stage 1. This is a much stricter time limit than last tournament. He goes for it, and he misses it. Ali took too much time going for the 3rd cyclone and ultimately didn't have the right timing to reach it. Sad way to see him go, but a much better performance than last time. The next person to run is Cory Alchemist, the 56th to run the first stage. A newcomer like so many others, we've seen many prove themselves, so let's see if Cory can add his name onto that list. His 75-second attack has commenced, and he is now onto his run. Stepping off the platform and onto the quintuple steps, moving with an amazing pace so far. Looking like he's trying to set some speed records here. Silk Slider is up next. Now on this dismount, he has the ability to skip the platform. Let's see if he goes for it there. He doesn't, and he actually goes a little bit close to the side. Very close to veering off of it, but he doesn't, and now he's into Whirlpool. He's cutting a lot of corners so far. He's now making his way through onto the 2nd cyclone. Twig's time of 21.5 is sure to be decimated if Cory reaches that point. However, he's already onto the swinging forest. That's where Twig was able to get a lot of time off of his hands. He's now making his way into this obstacle with a bit of stumble so far. However, he is moving very quickly as he's making his way onto the dismount platform. Having some trouble, and he ends up making it off. Cory comes up short of the dismount, doesn't have enough power, rushed it a little bit, and what an amazing run from him. The next person to run the first stage is another longtime member of the community. That person is Icardus. Icardus got his start in the community in 2013 and has not looked back. His competition in Ninja Bloxian Warrior was one of the longest lasting competitions, with nearly 20 tournaments held throughout all iterations. His run in competitions, however, have not turned heads. Despite his status as a Ninja Coolio Warrior champion, Icardus has struggled for years to pass the first stage, coming close on a few occasions but not making it through too frequently. He's put in a lot of practice into this competition, however, will today be the day he hits another buzzer? Standing on that starting line with his signature avatar that's come to define him, Icardus has been a large inspiration for this competition. The building style here can be attributed to his competition. It's amazing how much help he's been to make this competition what it's become. Onto the course now, he's making his way into the quintuple steps with a little bit of a slow approach. However, he's getting through quickly and onto the dismount platform and now onto the silk slider. He stepped up to the obstacle, he's now sliding down this track. This dismount can be very tricky and it claims yet another victim. The silk speeds up at the very end and causes the artist to overshoot the dismount, and this is unfortunately another early exit for him. Another familiar face has stepped onto the starting line. It's the real Bashbach 1. Earlier on, his brother Penguin is progress ran, and he went down on the quintuple steps. Last time, Bash failed the swinging forest, so he's definitely looking to avenge both those failures on this run today. Here we go, starting off with the quintuple steps. Approaching the jump that his brother failed, here it comes, will he be able to get it? He's able to get it, and now he's through the obstacle as well. Now he's on to the next obstacle, the silk slider. He's got a good grip on that silk, but now here comes the dismount. This has been a very tricky dismount for many, however, Bash is able to get it as well. As such an experienced competitor, it must have been no problem for him, but now he's coming up to face Whirlpool. This obstacle has been such a troublesome one, but Bash should be more than capable of completing it. Working his way around, coming at the first transition, but he misses it. Bash unfortunately misses the second cyclone by not timing it right. And sadly, this means that Bash's rematch with the Swinging Forest is gonna have to wait until next tournament. Knee War fan might think that he's on the wrong show, however, that doesn't mean that he's unable to make an impact. Already into that second step, now lining up for the third one, but he undershoots. Knee War fan jumps off the step too early, and unfortunately, this means he's out. Iceman Burr is taking a long time getting into his run, as he's been on the starting line for a good while, but he's finally onto the course. A bit of lag and a bit of hesitation getting into that second step, but he's got it now, and now he's going to the third step, but he misses it. Another competitor who's undershot that jump. It's Foamy went down on the silk slider last tournament, but he's been putting on a great showing so far as he's already into Whirlpool. Coming up on this third cyclone, going for it here, he's got it now, and just a dismount awaits for this obstacle, but he comes up short. Foamy managed to hit his head on the inside of the final frame. Sonic Fan 10194 is a skilled competitor who can go very deep into many competitions. Grab that silk, it's now a glide down to that landing platform, approaching it now, but he mistimes it. Sonic has shockingly gone down on the second obstacle, and he's out so soon. Jan Ninja Dude has one of the funniest failures last tournament on the quarter bridge, and he has a chance to beat the third obstacle today, but the silk slider is such a tricky challenge. Janter's had a lot of concerns regarding this obstacle, and they're all realized today as he fails the landing platform. Unfortunate end for such a promising run. Oof oof oof, 391 is through the quintuple steps without any issues and is now stepping up to the silk slider. So many competitors have fallen on this obstacle, and Oof is also one of them. Completely undershoots this landing platform, and this means that this is the end of his run. Up next to run the course is HawksFan 2016. Hawks has been here in the community for some time now, and he's been putting up some great results in recent competitions like Yasuke. He's also the host of Hawks Ninja Warrior, which is going into its third tournament. His run has now begun. He's onto the course now, stepping into the quintuple steps. Got a little bit of a slow strategy so far, however, he's making it work, landing that dismount. Now onto the silk slider, looking to get into the silk, but it looks like he's taking a little bit of time beforehand. Could this be a sign of nerves? He's on the silk now, approaching that dismount, but he's able to get it without any sliding whatsoever. Onto Whirlpool, these three spinners have been proven deadly so far for this entire tournament, as we're a little over halfway through our field. Hawks is having some trouble finding a good entry point onto the second cyclone, but however, he's able to find it right here. Now going onto the third one, he goes straight into it here. Just a dismount remains for Hawks, cleared the obstacle, and now onto the swinging forest. This mount cannot be overlooked, and he's taking a lot of time lining up for it, however, he's into the obstacle now. Now he's got to navigate himself through a series of ropes, taking a few extra swings on each of these ropes to make it onto the next one. Now here comes that dismount, stuck that, and now onto the Soritatsuka Bay. Less than 20 seconds remain on the clock, however, so Hawks can only afford a few mistakes now. Time is starting to be a problem. He misses his first attempt. He can really only get up it here. He doesn't get up it again. Here comes his 10-second warning. Let's see how far Hawks can go before his time expires. He's able to get up it, but how far can he go? And he loses his grip. Hawks is just out on the Tarzan rope. An amazing run, brought down so close to the end of the first stage as he climbs to the top. He could have made his way onto the list of clears, but sadly he joins the list of people who have failed the Tarzan rope this tournament. Hopefully next time he'll clear. The next person to run is Sasuke, formerly known as Brian the One 12345. Sasha competed last tournament, but sadly lost his grip on the Tarzan rope near the end of the stage. We know his potential, he's won so many other courses, so let's see how he'll fare on Robloxian SASUKE this tournament. Here comes his 75-second attack on the course, and now he's onto the course. Quintuple steps are up first. He defeated these last tournament, and it's looking like no problem here for him today. One obstacle down means that he's one obstacle closer to the Tarzan rope. Now onto the silk slider and sliding down that silk slider already. Approaching this dismount, but he slips off! Sasha is shockingly down on just the second obstacle, and this means his rematch with the Tarzan rope will have to wait until next tournament. What a surprising exit from one of our strongest competitors. Did not see that coming. Football Fan 0506 is the next to attempt the first stage this tournament. We've seen him around on other courses. How will he fare here today? After seeing someone like Sasha go down so early on this course, however, his nerves have got to be high. Now onto the course. First obstacle to face is the quintuple steps. He's making his way very slowly through this first obstacle, however, it's ending up working in his favor. That sideways technique definitely proving successful so far. Onto that dismount, that was actually a little bit sketchy. If he was a little bit farther back on that platform, he would have undershot that, but now that's in the past, but it fails in the present! 2 in a row out on the same way on the silk slider. Did Sasha's fail contribute to this? Probably made him a little extra nervous, and this means that he's out. Up next on the course is one of the most well-known community members. That person is Emolga Rex, better known as Bill X Ben. Rex got a start in the community in late 2016 and has had an amazing career in it. His competition, Ninja Bloxer, still stands as one of the most influential competitions to ever be held. However, for a few years now, Rex has been out of the spotlight. Now, he's back and ready to make his mark. Already started doing so, already made his way through the quintuple steps and approaching the silk slider. Stepping up to that silk, he's now got it. Will he be the third person in a row to fail this obstacle? He's not, as he's bested the previous 2 runners and now onto Whirlpool. This obstacle is similar to the knee war obstacle known as Broken Cycle, but with a little bit more movement. He's making his way onto this obstacle. He's a little bit stuck there on that first platform, however, he's able to get it here and now making his way onto this third cyclone. Working his way around, he has a chance to go for it here, but he opts not to go for it there. The cyclone's going to keep spinning as the clock keeps ticking. He gets it, but he loses his stability on the obstacle. He landed it, but ended up walking off of it, and unfortunately, this means that Rex's debut run here at Robloxian SASUKE has ended. The next run is everyone's favorite fisherman, Makoto Nagano. He's not the real Nagano, but his username has awarded him this tournament's number 69 in the run order. He's not really been known to have much success in competitions, haven't seen him make it to the halfway point of the first stage too many times. However, he's looking like he's making a strong showing so far, confidently making his way through the quintuple steps and now ascending the stairs to the silk slider. Stepped onto it and approaching this dismount. It's a very tricky one. Can he stick this dismount? Oh, he almost has it! He almost misses it. An amazing save from Nagano on that landing platform, nearly failing off the edge. He survived it and now has Whirlpool in front of him to face. Trying his best to find the best place to find this next transition. He's got it here and now making his way over to the next one. So on Perfect Cycle, will he go for it here? He will! Perfect Cycle so far as he's now on to the next obstacle. 3 obstacles down, 4 to go. Swinging Forest is up next. Barely grabs that first rope, but thankfully he catches it and is now moving with some urgency. Not taking much time on any of these ropes onto this dismount platform, and he's through it. Soitasuke Bay is the next obstacle. He's got a lot of time on his hands, but as we saw with Hawk, that can be lost in an instant. Failed to beat the wall on his first attempt. Crunch time isn't here yet, but it will be here soon. Denied by the wall again. This third attempt will most likely be his last attempt before it's hopeless, and he misses. 3 obstacles left, looking like it's the end of the road for him. However, he's able to get up in here. 2 obstacles left for him. He survives the Tarzan rope. 5 seconds left. He's got to blaze up this rope. He's going up to the top. Will he be able to hit the buzzer? He can! Makoto Nagano, 21 with 1.2 seconds left remaining. Defies all odds with the clock ticking down. He's made it through. It looks like his run was going to be over a long time before that on the silk slider as he just barely avoided disaster as he slid in a circle on that platform. With his 4 attempts on the Soitasuke Bay, it looked like that would also be a death sentence, but he continued to fight and never gave up once during his run. That determination all culminated in him barely hitting that buzzer, and you can tell that he is insanely excited to be where he's standing right now. Nagano is just the 6th competitor out of the first 69 competitors to run to make it through to the second stage. Congratulations to him. Hopefully his skill will compare to those of Nagano as his run continues into the next part of the course. Currently being hyped up on the starting line is one of Roblox Ninja's most notable competitors. The 70th competitor to take on the first stage is DJ Dilly. DJ's been in the community for years but hasn't found much success until very recently. Success, however, has been astronomical. He's reached the second stage in Rising Ninja Warrior and Blue Ninja Warrior's latest competitions, both of them being outcomes that even he didn't expect. In Yasuke's 5th tournament, DJ would surprise all by reaching the 3rd stage for one of the first times in his career. While he went down early, reaching that point showed how capable of a competitor he is. Sadly, that is not yet translated to Robloxian SASUKE, as he would tragically go down 3 jumps into his run. DJ has put in loads of practice coming into this run and has a more serious attitude towards the competition, and that should in turn give him a better result. DJ's skill is evident, and he's being hyped up by his friend Yas, who will be going later in the run order. Here comes a 75-second attack on the course, and his run is now off. He gets caught by Yas there as his run begins, but now he's on to his run. That did take some time out of his run, but he's recovered well from the minor setback and has now beaten the first obstacle. He's officially gotten himself a personal best, but you can tell that he wants more. Making his way down to the silk slider, already onto the dismount of it, showing no signs of stopping as he heads straight into Whirlpool. This obstacle has been very tricky, much harder than the quarter bridge, which was the obstacle that Whirlpool replaced last tournament. Coming now into this transition onto this obstacle, he doesn't get it! DJ unfortunately goes down here. Did not seem the most comfortable on the obstacle with a bad release to that second cyclone, meaning that he is now out. The second day of Robloxian SASUKE 2 has come to a close, but what a ride! The biggest episode of the tournament had numerous big names, big aspirations, big splashes, and a big increase to our clear count. 3 competitors have joined the growing list of clears last episode to make it a group of 6 into the second stage. With 2/3 of the field having already ran, will it be possible to see the clear record of 9 from last tournament be broken? All 6 of them vary in experience and clear time, but one thing remains the same: their desire for Kansen Seiha. That desire will continue in the next episode, the first stage finale. The last 30 competitors will take their stand against the first stage, including 8 of the competitors who cleared the first stage last tournament, before we close off with Robotic Pie, one of the speediest last tournament who also failed the last jump of the 3rd stage, Cory Kiwick's last tournament's last Robloxian standing, and Flodos, last tournament's golden competitor, and the one deemed most likely to win it all. These 3 and 27 others next episode. Until then, this is Jamie Dorino signing off. We'll see you next time for episode 3 of Robloxian SASUKE Tournament 2.